Greetings and good day, YouTube. How are you doing today? I myself am doing pretty good. As you can see, today we are doing, once again, the race against Grantkirkland. I'm excited to see exactly how far we can go. As you'll know, last time Grant had decided to restart again, but, I'm still not that confident in my capabilities of beating them. However, before we get down to it, I would like to say for those of you that are new to the kingdom, if you haven't already and you've been enjoying your stay, do not hesitate nor forget to become a citizen via subscribing on YouTube or follow me on Twitch and all of my other like social media sites and what have you. Link to all of them can be found through my Streamerlinks, which is in the description below. I look forward to seeing you then and there. And with all that said and done, let's get down to it. Alright, I have returned.
So you were ahead of me, right?
Yes, because somebody decided to restart.
I don't recall that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, no, I don't. I recall you playing Valkyria Chronicles, but not.
Yes, true. True.
Starting.
So I'm ready to load whenever you are.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright.
So the side story I'm starting to build up with my characters, the ideal, I think it's the ideal or something, but it was the theme I continued with it, where it was something was stolen of mine and I seek to retrieve it.
Once again, this is your Dungeons and Dragons rogue tiefling, Virgil Sparta.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that's so cool about Dungeons and Dragons. You can do whatever the hell you want with your character.
And the first thing I did is, as soon as because this is like a level 1 campaign.
Oh yeah.
Like brand spanking new, this guy's a brand new DM. But I slipped the bartender 1 gold piece and I said, let me know if you find any information on Masamune. I didn't, because I forgot about the Yamato's name, so I went with the famous sword.
That's great. So that's a pretty slick thing to do, because like you improvise fast enough.
I'm setting up a side story.
You're that's pretty slick.
I know what I want. I know what I want, and I know what I'm going to set up.
Oh, that's always awesome when you can like set things up. Have you talked to the dungeon master at all?
No. I'm just kind of like
winging it. Oh, you're throwing a wrench into it and seeing where that wrench goes. If it's gonna clog up the gears, or if it's gonna make the gears work faster somehow.
I think I'm setting it pretty well, because then I also told the town mayor, like, hey, yeah, I gave like the bartender this, relay the information back to me.
Oh, okay.
So what we're doing is basically we're like hunting a dragon and stuff like that. So the thing is that's gonna be really good. But
do you know what type of dragon, or is it just a rumored dragon?
Ice dragon.
A what?
An ice dragon.
Okay.
And ironically, I have fire resistance, not ice resistance.
Ooh.
Yeah, tiefling, but basically I got a +3 to all my debts. So I'm proficient in all my debts abilities.
Okay.
And then for my stealth, I was able to do expertise, so I was able to double it. So I have a +6 for stealth.
That's kind of crazy.
It's not my highest stealth. My highest stealth was a +9.
Still, kind of crazy.
A level 1 +9 stealth. I ain't being found.
Unless you roll a nat 1.
Yeah, basically, I rolled 2, I still got 11.
Because I was like, wait, I was doing the math in my head, and I'm like, the only way you actually get caught is if you roll nat 1. Especially if the campaign takes into account critical failures.
Yeah. If they don't, then I just can't fail.
Yeah.
There's just no failing at that point. So but
it's been so long. I started in the middle of a mission and I was like, what was I doing?
yeah, you just came back from Valkyria Chronicles and you're just like, huh? What was I doing now?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, no, we don't have to deal with tanks right now. We don't have to deal with this right now.
But yeah, no, I kind of just want to set up that side story in advance, be like, you have something to fall back on, and since I'm a tiefling, I know Infernal, and I know Common, so I know Common, Infernal, and Thieves' Tongue because I'm a rogue, so I
Oh,
naturally know it,
nice.
which is very well.
I'm just over here going, I'm like, it's funny because in the summertime I get way too busy. Like right now, I'm again, I had one of those debates of like, should I even go live tonight because I'm just exhausted right now.
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep.
Well, I'm not running on that low of amount of sleep. What I had to do today is I basically had to go up and down a roof, I think 10 to 12 times. And that was just hot, muggy. It rained a little bit, and then it was the type of rain that was just like it wasn't a cooling rain. It like rained, then stopped raining,
rain.
and then it was like just it made the heat worse.
Yeah, no,
So, like,
I know that feeling.
Probably around December and stuff like that is when I would be able to possibly think about trying to get into a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Is it a physical one or is it digital?
It's a physical one.
Okay.
Because since the stuff has been like kind of restricted, like lifted.
Yeah.
It's like I'm able to do it. But with campaigns that I'm thinking of, I'm like, I could twist something that can make it into its own campaign since I'm a big like homebrew kind of person. I can figure it out on the spot.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, oh, they derailed it and they kidnapped the bartender. Okay, well, let me figure this out.
I love, man. I would just kind of be a person that would try and challenge the DM and
So
be like,
that's what I mean. I think I should like DM for you, for you. Like cause I could definitely figure out like stuff to do. Like I'm kind of expecting like
derailtions. Well, it's funny because I try and think outside the box. It's like there's this one. I've yet to play Dungeons and Dragons. However, I've watched a few like
I mean, you're
campaigns.
also the person that used crap. What was it? I had Minor Illusion, which can make like a small sound big and a big sound small.
Yep.
We were with wolves and we were in the middle of combat, so I went up to DM and I proposed something to him. Hey, can I make my Minor Illusion sound like get to a pitch where it sounds like a dog whistle?
Ooh.
So high of frequency that it will affect them. And then they said yeah, and they will be disoriented.
Nice.
I figured that out on like, cause again, I'm a rogue that I don't build my rogues for combat. I build my rogues to be like, I will help, but I won't be the main thing. I'll be kind of like doing my own thing, staying out of danger.
Understandable.
I
honestly, I think the first time I ever do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, if it's like a bog standard, what edition are we in right now? The 5th edition?
Yeah, 5th.
A bog standard 5th edition, I'd want to do something with a ranger, I think. Regardless of what it is, I want to do something with a ranged type character.
I feel like it's better to just go like rogue and subclass ranger, because rangers kind of get the bottom of the barrel with what I've heard and with what I've like been told and stuff like that.
Well, I'd have to do a little bit of research before I do something like that, but long story short, I would try and figure out a way how to be a sharpshooter of some type.
I feel like I said, just go like rogue and some subclass, because that would be more beneficial since rangers don't get the best abilities. They kind of get like the bottom of the barrel. Like
that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, but
that's with bog standard.
Yeah, that's just how it is. You can't change it. Like,
damn. Anyways, not that big of a deal.
So it's like with one campaign, and I don't mind saying this because I'm not going to say the entire spoiler, but with one campaign I'm thinking about the great king of the dragons, Bahamut, has become corrupted. You will have to figure out what led him to this.
Interesting.
And why. And I wouldn't like, you know, like spoil the entire thing because I already have like twists, turns, and what would happen and what might not
So
happen.
you simultaneously playing while DMing a separate campaign?
Nope, I'm just thinking of ways to DM
Ah, gotcha.
because I think on the spot. That's my greatest trait. I don't need to. I could legitimately. I remember doing this in school. There would be a speech that I would have to present, right? And
Mhm.
we would be marked for the speech, not for what was written down. I had 3 sentences written down, and I just told like 3 paragraphs.
I never
I
was a fan of
I don't need to write it down. Like that's the ironic thing.
shit.
The only thing I would need to write down is like traps, but even that I don't want to because I want it to be like a full surprise.
But yeah, I never was a fan of presenting like that.
I
Honestly
know
enough, there's not that much difference between what I'm doing now and like presenting. The only difference is being physically in front of people.
It's like I don't mind.
So
That's usually where my marks shine.
what I figured
And-
was it's not that I dislike presenting in front of people, it's just like I dislike being forced to be like, hey, you have to do this.
Yeah, it's like it's a almost like the principle of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to do it, and like I'm just sitting there like, I would rather do that than do written stuff because I can't write for the life of me.
I'm
I
very
write
good at
how
writing.
I talk. Like I legitimately write how I talk, and that's the only way I can properly write, or I will be stuck for 2 weeks and not have a single thing done. Like that's just how it is. Because I can't write. I've tried many times, and I just can't.
I like just today when I was going on the drive to the place where I had to go up on the roof. I think I wrote 6 pages of like random notes over stuff.
Well, I can't say I can't write. I can do creative writing, but
But you mean like you can't come up with a scripted speech type of situation?
I can. You say write an essay. My 2 words is fuck off. Like that's just no.
That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that's just how it is. I've gotten 150, like 1 passing grade on an essay, and that was a mercy pass. I guarantee you it. And the only reason why I was able to get all that information was because my dad had war documentaries.
Nice.
That's it. And I was able to just do that. And I'm 99% sure I sourced them, but you know, when I look back, I'm like, did I absolutely mess up? It's like you questioning, you're just like, oh no.
Status confirmed. Target package in.
Always source your stuff, and the most stupid thing I heard is like, you have to source essays that you previously wrote. You have to source your own stuff.
Oh, okay. That's always, that kind of stuff's always off in some situations.
It's like, what if I didn't remember that I wrote this before? Like, what if I forgot?
Well, then apparently
Then
you're gonna have a worse grade, ain't you? That kind of stuff's always silly.
And it's like, well, if you want to go to college or university, get good at writing essays.
Good thing I don't give a shit about college.
I do.
Well, every
And
teacher and I give you. I hope you do well, like enough to go through there. But
I have to figure my way out of. I have to
Practice-
figure my way how to get in. I don't have.
that's
the,
what I was gonna say. There's.
Picking up an enemy transport.
I'm sure you'll be able to figure out some way.
Yeah, I usually figure out something. And I think the funniest thing is when, okay, so when you pick your ideals and flaws, my ideal is like, you know, if the plan goes wrong, I'll just come up with a new plan. And my flaw is, I want to make my flaw, you know, if there's a plan, I'm going to forget it. I want to make it that, so it's just like, no matter what you tell me, I'm going to do my own thing. But it's gonna be fun because it's with my normal friend group, and it's gonna be chaotic, which I know that's gonna be always fun. I'm just glad I set up the side story. I was like, hey, this could go on while the main story's going on.
Yeah.
So it would give my character a reason to like do something. And first of all, I know how stupid this sounds, but one of my friends also has like his character his character's background is a spy, my character's background is an assassin. Again, sticking with the whole Virgil thing.
That's great.
So I said, like, okay, can I do a history check to see if I actually know him? Because both we would my thought process was like I probably heard his name while I was doing like hunts or something like that. Because again,
Like
if he's a spy,
I like that. I like that stuff, like throwing out random ass queries that are like, honestly,
it makes
makes sense.
Stupid,
it's stupid, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you'd want to know if you like have at least heard of this
I
individual.
know this guy, so I could just skip the fucking introduction.
Yeah. So
I'm
what'd you roll? Like, is this
like...
something that you attempted like a roll on?
Yeah. And he's like, okay, you have to get like a 5. And what's funny is we tried to do a history check to know where the dragon is. We both got a 2. But then when we did the history check when we needed a 5, I got a 15, he got 13.
That's great. We know shit about the dragon, but we know about each other without knowing about each other. Like one of those quote-unquote situations. Oh, that's great.
It's like, I wouldn't need to do introduction because the obvious thing is like, I'm a tiefling that's an assassin. Why would I need an introduction?
That's so, like, oh, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. That you are one of the most obvious assassins.
But I'm also the most feared.
That's great.
Because I'm a...
It's always weird when you come up like... Now, mind you, this is not anything to do with Dungeons & Dragons or anything like this. This is just a general blanket statement of, like, thinking about stuff. Where, like... It's one of those personal things of, like... Man, it's weird to me that... You're like, I'm an assassin that's done this job and this job and this job, but you're only level 1 to start with.
Yeah,
I understand like, why that is the way that it is, but it's always one of those things that makes you go, eh.
It's how it is.
It's my brain does that. It's like if I was actually playing the campaign or the game, I don't actually like care.
One thing I would do, and this is something I want to bring in, and this is why I feel like I would be a decent DM. At the start of the campaign, I would say, okay, roll a d20. Why roll a d20? So I can keep everyone organized. I would say you have to start initiative when you enter a new town. And that initiative will carry over if you go into combat.
Okay, that's so like
so then everyone's like
interesting.
No one will be like, I want to do this. It's like, well, wait. Like
that's a very interesting way to look at that.
Oh yeah, Xcom is very difficult, but it's also kind of simple when you play it.
Oh yeah, when you play it so often and you can break down to know exactly what the AI is gonna do, it becomes.
You know what you want to do, you know how you do it, and then you just.
Yeah, that's why people start modding the game. When you start getting like 500 plus hours into it, you go, all right, I need to change things up a little bit. So you start throwing mods in.
Or if you played a game called Valkyria Chronicles, this game looks like it's nothing.
Oh yeah, at this stage.
Oh yeah.
You're not exactly wrong there.
That's not even really boasting. That's just the truth.
I did not anticipate that game. Mind you, it's one of those situations where, just like with this game, there can be a lot of saves coming. But there's a part of me that's like, I wonder what... Because I was looking at, like, the extras in Valkyrie Chronicles, and I'm like, I wonder what the, like, hardest difficulty is, because I know there's a way to unlock it.
Yeah, but it's also, like, Valkyrie Chronicles is its own beast, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like, oh, I played a bunch of XCOM. This will be easy. It's like, no, it won't.
Oh no, it's a totally different beast because it's a cross between real-time strategy and turn-based strategy.
And luck.
Well, just the real-time and the turn-based strategy, like that. When I first heard about it, kind of was like, what? How does that work? Like you think it wouldn't work out at all. It works out really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like that little concept you were talking about, having like a initiative roll.
Just to keep like everyone organized.
Yeah.
Because it does get chaotic, especially if you're a new DM. Of like, oh, this person wants to do this. Like, I get into a real big habit when I play rogues that I just want to go straight to the black market.
Just
Like,
immediately. So
Yeah,
where's your
it's- I'm gone.
where's your black market?
Yeah, because not only do I get the most information there, um, I tend to learn way more about the town than I would talking to someone else. Because first of all, thieves,
Yep.
they know more than the average one,
They're
and they
the
tend to know more about the story than anything else. Which that's just.
well, I mean, criminals have a tendency to like they're able to get more information quicker and easier
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't like the authoritative figures.
And when we're talking about like old towns and stuff like that, it's definitely like, you know.
Yeah, you'd be amazed at what type of contacts a thief would have, and what type of contacts an assassin would have.
Yeah. and-
Almost kind of reminds me of a little bit, but like I know this is not like some people who are Dungeons and Dragons fans would probably be like a little mentioning this like this, but I have to because it's the best way I can put it. Of like kind of reminds me a little bit about how Skyrim did like the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood.
Mm.
I know it's not the same thing. It's just what my brain immediately has like that association with it.
Mhm. Another thing I would do was say if my party's like rowdy and stuff like that, and they're like causing a bunch of mischief, I would just let them do that.
Of
But
course.
if they like kind of did it too far, I wouldn't punish them in the way that you would think. I would just be like, well, I know how this campaign's supposed to go, so I know how it's gonna affect them down the road.
Well, it's like if you start being rowdy into the town, it will have like guards will start to be on the lookout around you. They'll be more suspicious of your actions and stuff like that, I would assume. For example, that's just like NPC stuff. That's not like the big bad is now more aware of your daily going-ons type of situation.
Yeah, no, it's more the sense like, again, I like doing a well-woven story. And stories aren't that bad. Oh, I just got 0 in Wraith.
Oh god.
I think I'm actually going to go with Wraith, because that's such a good ability for skirmishers.
Workshops aren't really necessary.
Yup.
I'm like starting the last
you're
playthrough
just-
that I did. I'm
I
like,
just realized that's it.
well, it's less just realizing that now and more realizing that like I have 6 engineers.
Wow, a fear that finally makes sense for once. Wow.
Oh, what a surprise! What is it?
Necrophobia. Because
Oh.
they took a bunch of damage from the loss because I had them to mismoved.
Nice.
So that's a fear that fucking makes sense now.
So I finally got the Skulljack. Maybe I'll be able to actually put it to use. Fight a codex.
I mean, yeah, but it's just I think another thing I would do is I wouldn't put a limit. I wouldn't put a limit on like, oh yeah, well, you want to play an angel in this campaign? Go right ahead. I don't care. I can work with it. I don't try to tell my players like no, because I
think that word's one of the worst things you could do in Dungeons and Dragons.
if it's your first time DMing and you don't know what to do, fine, cool.
Even if it isn't your first time DMing, I would like you could add so much. You could like use certain things to the story you wouldn't even imagine previously. That's why I always imagine a Dungeons and Dragons campaign as less of a set situation. Like it's not a linear story; it's a ever evolving story where somebody's like.
If
One of my players, like if I was DMing and one of my players came to me and wanted to do something interesting, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll see if I can work that out in this way. Like something secret they're doing like outside of the party, and the party might be like, it's always this weird concept of you can't metagame, or like try not to metagame type of situation where like this individual's doing something and you guys as players know what's up, but your characters have no idea. And that's a hard like balance because metagaming.
This D&D is a big balancing act, and I feel like the people that are seen as really good DMs are people that could woven a story from nothing
Of course.
and make it into something. Like if you want to play a certain race, and I know that that certain race is going to get brought up in the campaign, fine, cool. Or if it's like, best example, like if they are playing an orc and the orcs are deciding to take over a certain village, I would, they would, I would just ask, okay, what's your reasoning of rebelling against the people that are trying to take over this place? Why should I trust you?
Okay.
I would throw it in the sense of he would be the least trusted, because is he a spy? Is he not? Is he trying to, make amends, or is he just tired of what the orcs were doing? I would let it fall down to the player of how they wanted to approach it, because
So I can definitely see you're one of those people that doesn't do the all orcs are evil type of situation. I like
No,
that. I like that.
I've played Witcher. Witcher taught me well.
Yes. I need to
Witcher
play
definitely
that
taught me
series.
well.
I need to play that series so badly. It's something I think would be right up my alley as well.
I'm saying the Alien vs Predator game, you're gonna really like it. It
I'll-
has a
I'll-
lot of stealth in it.
I'm gonna be spending a while on Valkyrie Chronicles, though. I can say that much.
I know, cause like you got addicted real fast.
Well,
to
it's not just that. It's also like there's a part of me that's I'm wanting to like get all the achievements. I know it's the Epic Games version, but there's still a part of me that's like, well, no, this is the Steam version.
Steam.
Whoops. My brain just went. I was thinking about Dungeons 3. I guess because we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, I started thinking about Dungeons 3, and I thought about the Steam version and how I have all the achievements for Dungeons 3, so I'm taking a little bit of a break from that game. Anyways, I have the Steam version of that game, so yeah, I do want to go through and get all the achievements just for, like, shiggles. Shits and giggles. And one of the achievements is getting A rank on all of the missions. And some of these missions have made me go, oh, I'm going to be ripping my fucking hair out by the time I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, don't worry. I kind of know the speedrun route, and I still stumble because it is a very strict route.
And what's funny is the AI of that game, like the enemy AI, isn't
very
really
smart.
that, like, it's smart, but it's not, like, it's got its
It
hangups.
gives you leeway.
It does have its SMS moments, its soldier McSoldier
It's
face
like
moments.
it doesn't use all the skill points,
Yeah,
like all the ability points.
yep. It
But
doesn't
that's
do
good
that.
and bad.
Exactly.
But it is still something that
I
definitely
might
needs
end
to
up
be
doing 3 playthroughs of this game. I'm gonna do a playthrough this, and I might do like the hardest difficulty playthrough, and like if there's like an Iron Man mode in quotation marks, I might try and play with that on. Which
Oh, hey,
my
Hunter.
god,
Nope, assassin again.
you know.
Yeah, she didn't have enough of me. Missed shot and Overwatch.
Ooh,
Easy target from high ground. So use snipers. Woo!
nice.
Yeah, that's actually easy because skirmishers will be busted against her.
Yep.
That's just how it's gonna be. But one thing I also find is how we just don't skip a beat.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
We're just like talking and talking. But
it's one of those situations where like you can easily find a subject to bounce or a topic to bounce off of the other individual, even if it's not a subject they really feel like talking about. And you can tell when it's a subject the individual doesn't really want to discuss at
just
the
like,
moment.
they try and brush it off.
Yeah.
Like that's just the truth of it. But it's like with D&D, I feel like people that give it a chance, like actually like one of the main reasons that they really like it's because they really get into their character, and that's like fantastic. But I think the reason why a lot of DMs like DMing is they could build a world that normally they would never know.
I also think it's a little bit of like a I don't know how to word it exactly, but I think I would really enjoy being a DM because I enjoy video games like The Sims and Dwarf Fortress and like stuff where you build a city, like city simulators. Like I really enjoy those, and there's a lot of like control aspects of it. Like if you want to have a city on the side of the ocean, you can have a city on the side of the ocean, right? And I think a little bit of that will carry on over into a DM's mindset.
Because again, I'm already thinking of stuff that, like, again, rolling for initiative when you get into a new town,
That is
Yeah, at
very
the start-
interesting.
it's smart.
I'm surprised I haven't heard about that
under heavy surveillance.
before this.
You enter a town, roll for initiative. Why are we rolling for initiative? So I could manage it. Like, and if you go into combat, you're going to keep that
Also,
initiative.
it'll get you the habit of, like, if you do that, like, in certain situations, you can, like, roll for initiative. And then, like...
They will have no idea if I'm going to put a surprise encounter.
Exactly, like an ambush. An ambush could happen. And it would be an actual ambush.
And that's the thing, I would always try and, like, so if I know a certain thing would cater to this person's story, and they are, say, a lone wolf, I would find a way to get them alone. Without,
Like splitting the
outright
party. I get what you're saying.
I'm alone. One thing I'm thinking, if it was elf, I would make everyone drink. I would have the bartender, if it's something to do with the bartender, spike the drink for everyone with a sleeping spell. And since elves aren't affected by it, everyone else would be asleep. That guy wouldn't.
And what's really funny is if you do it in such a way, just like they get their drinks, they wouldn't even suspect anything, you know?
Nope. And then if they become like more wary, I'd be that kind of person where it's like, actually no, I'm putting in the drink like a fairy potion. Like I would make them like question everything.
That's great.
Because again, I would.
Well,
be
the best part is you can do certain, like, you could just, how do I word this? I don't know exactly how to word it, but what I'm trying to get at
You
is
can almost string the players along in
Yeah.
a story of like false sensehood or in a sensehood that they don't trust but they should. Making them like kind of question people instead of just blindly trusting them. And I feel like that's going to be very strong because it's not going to be easy doing that. It's definitely going to be difficult.
you have given me one hell of a situation right now.
How?
So I only have 4 soldiers on this next mission that I could use
Mhm.
because I can't use my Templar, 2 of which are snipers.
Mm-hmm.
Raid the Advent troop transport. Well, hopefully this doesn't end badly.
I'm making you think on your toes in this game.
Yes, you are.
And it will make you a better player for it.
Of course.
It's like, oh, I have 4 rookies. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I know the rookies can't take down an assassin, so assassin, just get your knowledge and get out of here. I don't want to deal with it. Like, you kind of take the risk of like, I could deal with this later. I could deal with this later.
It gives
and
him a
not have
little
to
bit
deal
of a
with it
level
now.
boost, but it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's like I could deal with it later. I could work around it. I could just deal with it.
Oh yeah, the Valkyrie Chronicles lane. No, I was looking at it, and I'm probably gonna end up playing through that game this time for the main story, and I'm probably gonna. I don't think I'm gonna do it like a direct secondary playthrough on the hardest difficulty afterwards. I'm probably going to, depending on how long it takes me to beat the game, maybe take a little bit of a break to play something else, go back to it, beat the game with that, like every mission on, like go through and get all the achievements, and then play through it on the hardest difficulty with like Bronze Man or Iron Man or whatever activated, so I like every action that I take is set in stone type of a situation.
I'm
Make
telling
things
you
really
the truth,
difficult.
when you see the speedrun, you're going to say, what the fuck?
I'm still debating, like I'm probably gonna try and watch that on stream, I think, at some time.
It's going to ruin a lot of stuff that you want to think about.
No, I mean like when I'm ready to watch, I never watch the speedruns before I'm done playing a game. But if I ever do watch, like I'm starting to be okay with the idea of potentially watching stuff, like reacting to stuff on stream. As long as it's not like stuff that's gonna get me in trouble, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna not do that until I get some type of a face
Yo,
cam.
I understand Advent hates Xcom, but your chosen is trying to get information and you're just taking me out. Aren't you kind of just fighting against your own at that point?
I mean, the Chosen technically would already do that if the Elders weren't keeping them on a very short leash. The Chosen would probably have killed each other by now.
I mean, that's completely fair. Well, I have one rookie to take out a Faceless, a Priest, and a normal soldier.
A Faceless, a Priest, and a Trooper walk into a bar.
And the soldier says, oh fuck.
Well, I was gonna make the joke about, and the bartender says, like, Batala 10, or whatever. Like, the greeting that you hear from, the skirmishers.
Oh, well, I fucked up a retaliation mission. Oh well.
Oof.
Oh well. I couldn't do it anyways. I had to chase a normal Advent Trooper. Even if I got everything, I had to chase. He dipped. Like, he dipped so fast.
Hey, this mission has no timer. Nice. Is it raining right now? Oh yeah, it is.
That heat rain. It's like, with this game, sometimes you just have to accept a loss. Like, you're just like, oh well. You have to accept it. You have to accept what happens.
Man, I'm so glad that I can get as easy, like, it's easy for me to get invested to a video game story.
That's affirmative.
Because
On my way.
the Chronicles of Valkyrie?
Valkyria Chronicle.
Valkyria. The Valkyria one, like, the story's actually a lot more gripping than I at first was anticipating it would be.
That scene where, oh god.
That
it's like,
that was like, I was like not expecting that.
I don't think
wasn't. See,
anyone
it wasn't that I
like-
wasn't expecting that scene. I wasn't that expecting that scene to invoke the emotions that it invoked as quickly
Like,
as it
the
did.
voice
It like
actors and
hit me
actresses
in the back of my head. I was like, "Holy shit!" Also, I was muted for like an hour. Oh my god! I was watching the.
I was lurking, so yeah.
I was
I
watching.
couldn't-
I was watching the video before I like upload it to YouTube or get it ready to upload, and I was like, oh, and like one of the dudes, Harry or whatever his name was, I was making comments about how immediately I could tell his voice was the voice actor that did the voice for Raiden from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, I heard that one.
And I was like, I kept talking about it though, and I was so upset at myself for keeping myself muted like that. So like in the future, I'm probably, even if I am using display capture, I'm an alt tab if I've just muted myself and then unmuted myself, and make sure that I'm not, muted or anything like that in the future.
Moving to designated coordinates.
Oh, an Archon, nice.
Oh wait, you're only at that part?
Position confirmed.
Holy, I could catch up.
Well, I mean, I think this isn't the first time I've come across an Archon.
I mean, like, if it was your first encounter, I'm like, what the fuck? Holy, just a like a box full of tads, like a good solid minute of just tads.
And it's probably all mandatory text because of the way they programmed this damn game.
Yeah, you can skip it.
I really hope they change some of the programming in XCOM 3 so you don't have to deal with hard-coded voice lines like that. Because that makes no sense why that is the way that it is. At least to me it doesn't. Well, doing my little disclaimer because of the way the storm is, I highly doubt it will because it's just rain for now. But if all of a sudden I go, the stream ends and I go quiet, my power's gone out. Coin toss to hit in our favor. Let's go for it.
It sails.
You're right. It dodged. It hit, but it was a dodged hit.
Oh, so it was in the middle.
Yeah. Because I was thinking heads. So it landed on its side.
But the thing is, perhaps there's a one thing I really want to do when it comes to D&D campaign. I just want it to be, like I said, I just want to allow them to like be themselves. Like they want to say, "Eff it, we're gonna burn down a tree." Like, cool.
I thought you were gonna say burn down a village for a minute, and I was gonna be like, well, that escalated quickly. That's what I thought you were going with it.
I mean, if they were chaotic evil, I would let them do it.
In my head, I'm just imagining like one party member just like sends you a text or something like that, and then after a couple of like moments, a fire suddenly breaks out, and that person's like is the one who set the fire. That's part of the party, but they're doing it for a specific reason that they don't admit to the party because they're trying to like smoke somebody out or something like that.
I think a smart thing would do is like, say if they do that and the rest of the party is like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I would say.
Well, no. What I mean is that the party doesn't find out about this fire setting thing until.
Oh no, I'm not like that. I'm not like that. They won't find out in the moment, but they'll find out later.
Okay.
Like I'm not going to be like, ha, you get away with everything. It's like, it's your job to keep that from them. It's your job that if I bring up an NPC that survived the fire that saw you do it, you have to intimidate that person.
No, I'm not meaning like they set up the fire to kill someone. I mean they like say your party's investigating something, right? They're investigating an arsonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the party members gets an idea, sets the fire, trying to smoke out the arsonist because they didn't set it and they want the credit for it. Like they're like, like that type of a situation.
Well, that I would recommend them to do more of a magic trick like minor illusion.
Okay. Then instead of an actual fire.
Yeah, I would figure out something that could work around it.
I love this because the reason I'm saying this the way that I am is half of a test, half of a curiosity about what you would say.
But again, I have a plan for basically everything, so.
Well, see, that's what's funny about Dungeons & Dragons. You can say that, but in all actuality, it might not be as much of a everything as you think. But
I mean, I'm kind of expecting everything, like more than 1 million scenarios I could go through.
Let's not do that and say we did, though. I believe you. Oh, come on, really?
You've heard my conversations. You know I can do it.
Yeah. And it's not that I wouldn't want to hear that, it's just that right now, I don't think my brain could handle it.
Because, like, again, there's people that say, like, oh, I can handle every scenario, and then there's me, and you're just like, yeah.
Oh, I know, I couldn't fucking handle every scenario. That'd be something that would surprise me, and I'd have to start figuring out as we go along, right?
And it's just like, some people are able to do it, some people aren't. It depends on the person. Some people can do it like on the fly, and other people don't understand like how the fuck are you doing this? And some people just can't. And there's no shame in either. Like no shame at all.
Like I think a dungeon like a XCOM based homebrew campaign would be pretty awesome.
I would not do the base XCOM.
No, like I misspoke. My apologies. Maybe not a base XCOM, but like a homebrew campaign based on XCOM.
I would figure something out, cause again, I would have to figure out like, okay, I don't want it to affect the actual storyline.
No, that's why I said based on it, not but not like
I-
the base XCOM story, but you take XCOM and then you change, like it's a homebrew campaign that's unique, different, but it's the general ideas and stuff like that.
I say I would place it kind of in between Enemy Within and XCOM 2. I would say you are part of the
I
resistance.
wouldn't even do that. I would just make a totally new, like, new thingy.
Well, I want people to actually like really enjoy it and really get attached to it.
True.
And then that's how I am. Like there's just I figure out, and I like doing it where it's like I know enough of the story that I can pull that off. Like it's a risk, but you need to like know the story. Like if you were going to make a Witcher D&D, it would be very, your party wouldn't be together. Like that's just.
Well,
the
you
fact
say
of
that,
it.
but I mean, just because you make a Witcher-based Dungeons and Dragons doesn't mean they all have to be Witchers. It doesn't mean they all have to be.
That's what I mean. Your party's not going to be together. Like your party's going to cross paths, but they're not going to be together.
Well, I don't know about that. I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one because I think you could do a Dungeons and Dragons style Witcher thing, with like, hell, you could probably make it work to where they're a group of like mercenaries or something like that.
I just need Monster Hunters.
Monster Hunters, true, like non-Witcher Monster Hunters. That would be very interesting.
Not Witcher.
Or hell, hell, if you really want to make
things.
things interesting, make them bandits, or not bandits, but like what's the word? Basically, bandits is the best I could come up with for the time being.
Let's see. If I had to place people in a Witcher campaign, if they said they wanted to be a Witcher, I would say okay, fine, but you'll be separated from the party for like 2-3 days.
Oh, I would actually not even say that. I'd just be saying you're separated from the party, and I would have to, like, when they come across each other, they come across each other, and whether or not they work together would be based entirely on
I would
if they
kind
want
of-
to or not.
I would form like how, like what would make them work together. Like it's just I think how I would approach it would be, you would be a Witcher and these people that are struggling, like either someone's a knight or someone's like a monster hunter or like someone's an elf, different races and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We would all come together.
I
for,
know.
like,
I see. This is before I started, like before I figured out that I wanted to stream. I did watch a couple playthroughs of The Witcher, so I know the general story of it. It's been quite a few years since I watched anything on The Witcher 1
I will say,
or 2.
homebrewing a Witcher campaign would be like difficult.
It would be difficult. You could still
To
do
say
it
the
though.
least, but you would have a lot of creatures to work with.
That's right there is why I think it'd be
You would have like a lot of creatures to work with.
valuable to do.
So it's just be like, you would have to be able to like figure out, okay, so think about like 30 different races and where they would spawn. Like that's what my brain would go to. I don't know if your brain would go to that, but mine definitely would.
There's this
And-
this one campaign that
Oh,
I
thanks for
watched.
like a-
It was completely like a homebrew type thing. I can't remember. Stephen Lumpkin, I think his name is.
Hmm.
He called the West Marches thing he created. It was when he was doing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons type stuff with It Me JP. When It Me JP was still doing Dungeons and Dragons shit like that. And the West Marches was a completely unique world. Like it was based around, I can't even remember all of it. You'd have to look, I'd have to rewatch it, but the individual would always have like different, there would be different guests on and different people would participate in the story. And there was this town that they would, all the adventurers would reside in. And like, the adventurers could change the town. They could put like 10,000 gold down and like build an inn if they wanted to, and then run an inn, and then that inn would be in future games. Stuff like that always interests me.
Let's see with Dean. I saw this one creature that I really want to put in a campaign. So there's this shadowy creature that would like lurk in the dark, and people would be afraid of the dark.
Okay.
I was watching some D&D stuff, and this guy made it where he did a reverse take on it. The creature would lurk in the light, and he
Ooh.
wouldn't be a shadow, he would be a light. So therefore, they would be afraid of the light. And I want to put that into the campaign somehow, because I feel like that would be a very strong thing to put in.
Something that's unique as well.
Yeah. It's like, make them fear everything around them. That's my goal as a DM.
You know what would be really interesting? Like a twin shadows type of thing. One that dwells in the light, one that dwells in the dark.
I want to make a homebrew race of like almost like a Jekyll and Hyde character.
Oh.
Yeah. Because that just made me think of Jekyll and Hyde. And what I would figure is this. He would be a werewolf, basically. I'd make him a werewolf. And how I'd see it is, I would allow the party, so there's a lot of different ways I would allow them to approach it. But one way I would allow them to approach it is this. If the person tells them they're the werewolf. Because I can either keep it a mystery, like I'm not going to say it outright. That is something that is, again, I'm leaving it to the player. Because there's some stuff like as a DM I'm saying, like you're not stopping me, try me. But there's also some stuff where I'm leaving that to you. Do you want to say it? Do you want to tell them? And if the party knows that's a werewolf, I would make them do a history and a nature check. Because I get nature as like the surroundings, but I treat nature as like animals and creatures. Because a history check, I don't really count. History check, I see more of the environment that you're in.
Yeah, I was just about to say, the history is like, maybe if you were looking at a stone tablet that was talking about werewolves, and
yeah, that
how,
would be a history.
yeah.
That would be more of a history. But I would also say you have to have like insight. Like, do you know what this is? Like,
So you like, oh, multiple rolls to figure something out, aside from the obvious.
Yeah,
oh, I love that.
It ain't the fucking obvious in real life. I'm just being blunt on that.
I love that.
It's like, do you know what this is?
You know what it is, but do you actually know what it is?
You know what it is.
Like, you can glean that it's based on this. But what does it
in
mean?
reality, you actually know it.
Yeah. Now, for all you know, it could be like a reference to something, referencing something else, not actually talking about that item in particular.
Yeah, exactly. And just making them think of it that way would they would be like, well, no, it's obviously a history check. It's like, how I see it, when, and this is a warning too, like if I DM you or something, I'm not playing traditional D&D.
I have noticed already, trust me.
I am not, I refuse, because I want to get, the traditional D&D, in my humble opinion, it's restrictive.
Well, yeah,
There's some
it's
stuff where it is like cut and dry. I don't like that. I don't see.
Yeah, I don't like the black and white stuff either. I like gray. I always like
when
gray.
you're in a world that is magic and, you know, full of energy and full of everything, nothing is black and white.
I would love, like, just thinking about stuff like that. Like, I'd love to like throw uncommon situations at my players. Again, I'm using base, like, just well, maybe not obvious. I'm not using base, but what I mean is like,
one thing that I actually thought of, like, just recently is, basically, I would be like, okay, you snapped on twig, like you stepped on a twig while you were looking around the area. 2 wolves come out. They don't seem aggressive. They seem friendly. What shall you do? And if they attack it, because I already know in the back of my head, and they kill those wolves, if you say like in the next village, they would come up and this druid would come
Oh,
up to them,
yeah.
and the druid would say, I've missed 2 of my friends. I was wondering if you adventurers could help me find them.
So
They
yeah,
say,
that would be
"Yeah,
your
okay,
type
what
of
is it?"
punishments. Got it.
And but it wouldn't always be like that.
Well, no,
Like,
I was
that's the
thinking
thing.
more along the lines of like the most uncommon type of like, okay, so the situation you're in is this, but that's not what the actual situation is. Like you tell them one, like what you're saying. I'm basically rehashing what you're saying, but more along the lines of like, you've been hired to get rid of a group of bandits, right? Something like them being orcs or something like that, and it looks like one thing, but it's actually another. I always love doing situations like that.
What I would do basically is, again, I would leave it down to choice.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, nope, we're just getting paid. That's it. If you just want to be paid, that's fine. And you do the job, move on. Or you could question the order. Because in my campaign, everyone knows common. Everything knows common. Because it's common.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a common language,
That's
like.
that's what always frustrated me about watching some of the campaigns. Why the hell are you gonna call it common when half the fucking people you interact with, the NPCs you interact with,
It's like
don't
infernal
understand?
dwarves,
Yeah,
like,
and it's like, and they don't have common. And it's like, I'm sorry. If it's called,
But you
why
want
is
to
it
be, like,
called common if it's not
secretive, or,
actually
like-
common?
Do you want it to be secretive? I'm still gonna make stuff secretive. Like if they're like tieflings, I'm still gonna get them to talk about infernal stuff you shouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you got some individuals that,
But they know common. They
hell,
like,
there could
you
be
can't
some
just-
that refuse to speak common just because, but they still would understand it.
Yeah, you can't just talk behind their back and say, "Oh, well, you don't know common." It's like,
Oh, this is annoying.
how do I see it? If you could spawn in as a tiefling and you know common, what is stopping the others? Knowledge? No. Like I just want to be like, again, blunt on it. It's D&D. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to have creative freedom. If you put restrictions on creativity, it
That
tends
starts to
not be as fun.
lower your fun level.
Yeah, because again, you can't do certain things. You can't, kind of explore. And I think one thing I know I'm gonna have to encounter, but say someone played it as an angel, and they had to go to Beelzebub's realm, right?
Okay.
First thing that I would say is, I would get him to actually speak in Celestial.
Okay.
Because, again, he is one of the major demons. So first thing I would say in Celestial is, why is this filth in my realm? What do you have to, why do you have to be here? And again, I would just instantly, I would get him to just not like him.
Okay.
Because that makes sense. Why would the demons like the angels? Why?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That is just commonality stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's just like, the people will. It's not fair having like a character instantly disliked. It's all about fairness. It's like,
Realism.
that's how it is. There's nothing else about it. That's just how it is. An elf is going to be loved by humans. A dwarf is going to be questioned by humans. And a tiefling's going to be hated. By like, not by every human, but by a lot. You won't just get strange looks. It's like, you will have to roll out a negative.
Like if you're trying to disadvantage,
If you're
not
trying to
negative,
persuade
disadvantage.
them, you have to roll as a negative if you're a tiefling.
I would.
Well,
would you say negative or would you say disadvantage?
I would say negative, like -1. You take away 1.
All right. I suppose.
I wouldn't say disadvantage because disadvantage is too cruel.
I suppose. I would probably be a little bit Oh god, this is so annoying.
I'm really making you think of stuff that you didn't think of.
Well, it's less that. It's more of like I'm thinking about how I would DM type of a situation. Like,
Because everyone will DM differently. That's the truth of Dungeons and Dragons. That's what makes it good.
Mhm.
And some people can follow the rule book to a T, and some can follow it as guidelines.
I think I would follow it more as guidelines than anything.
Yeah, it's like you have more freedom.
Hell, I'd wanna like make a frickin' what are they called? The big beholders?
Yeah, basically impossible to kill if you really think about it.
I'd want to make a beholder a bartender. That makes no sense, right?
Bartender. I mean, it does, but doesn't.
Exactly. But
I
like,
say in the realm of Beelzebub, that makes sense.
I just like this idea of like this fucking massive creature everybody fears being a friendly neighborhood bartender.
Oh yeah, what you be having?
Yeah, just like this. Yeah, what can I do you for? And just like open up with you. Of course, meet your group at the inn or whatever. However, your focus isn't on each other. It's more on what has made this inn as famous as it is. Not a local drink, not something like that. Just like go with the opening spiel.
It must be someone with an alluring eye.
Oh, that's great.
I'm good at detail. I think that's a shining spot for.
I have a lot of research I would need to do about certain things to make it work
Yeah,
properly.
no, if you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm gonna say.
But the fact that you weren't immediately like just no, that makes me happy. That seems possible.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's impossible. Like that's the thing. Is like if you truly think about it, what I don't get is how people just say like kobolds are just from a different realm that like dragons conquered them, and they serve dragons.
Why can't the kobolds have conquered the dragons, huh?
What I say is, why couldn't their kobolds be refugees
True.
and come up to?
And the dragons are their saviors.
Yeah, like Bahamut, which Bahamut is known as one of the good dragons. Seeing as that, and just approaching it at a different light, because first of all, I'm not trashing on the original D&D. It has spawned a lot of fantastic things. It inspired a bunch of RPGs, especially in the good old days. But homebrew is starting to be more and more popular, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too because it's a lot more freedom to come up with your own.
And people
everything.
are starting to think on their own. Like they're starting to again. And the good thing about D&D, it doesn't require you to play with the rulebook. It doesn't require you. And obviously there's people that will say, no, it requires you to play with the rulebook. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
I think
Like,
those are individuals that I don't immediately want to shut down, but I immediately want to shut down. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying there, like, if I will be upfront with my party, I'm barely going to follow the rules. If you love D&D that follows the rules, don't be in this campaign. That's just how it is. Because I'm going to be playing this campaign with friends. I'm not going to be playing it with randoms. Because with randoms, I'll stick with the rules. You know,
True.
There's something that you just have to.
That's one of the reasons why I haven't been able to do a D&D campaign, because I haven't really had a group. Mind you, this was before virtual D&D has started to like pop up like it has. But
Well, yeah, so like,
never really had a group that I could do it with, you know?
yeah.
Honestly, also, I wasn't really into Dungeons and Dragons when I was in high school. Like, as much as I am now.
Dungeons and Dragons always got like this rep of like it's so nerdy.
Well, it wasn't even that why I wasn't into it. It was more along the lines of like, it just not like.
No reason.
It wasn't talked about. It wasn't thought about. I was talking about Skyrim and shit. Oh my god. Is that right?
But one thing that I would be like really cool with, and this would be my own kind of twist, is I would have legendary swords in my campaign.
Oh, so you'd have like special equipment and stuff like that.
Caliber, Masamune. I would have to look up some Egyptian blacksmiths, and I would.
You know what's
place
funny?
them.
You know what's funny? Some religious texts have references to ridiculously strong weapons as well. Like I think what is it? It's the Habarta. I think has like references to 36 different types of weapons, or named what I don't know exactly what it is, but you'd be surprised at where you could find inspiration from.
Yeah, no, it's like I would do that, but then I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, you found Scalper, okay, have it.
No, you can't. Yeah,
No,
you get.
no, no,
If
no,
you
no,
was
no, no.
basically like a complete quest line, you'd have to do to get that.
Not even a quest line. I'm like, are you lawful good? No? Too bad. Move on.
Move along, bitch.
Move along. You ain't lawful good. I know.
That's great. That's great.
Like, that's just the truth. King Arthur was lawful good. The story's told it in France and England that he was the ideal king. And the ideal king is lawful good.
That's crazy to think about. I like it though.
Yep. And then with Masamune, I'd be like, is this the real one or is this the fake one? Even back then, they forged swords, like.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna, like.
Just
really?
have like 3 copies of Mjolnir. They're all forgeries.
I would, with Mjolnir, I would actually approach it in a weird way.
No, I
would say
was
yes.
just. It's the first name that came to my mind for whatever reason.
I'd make them go into the cosmic dimension to get it. To get the real one.
He knows. If there was one thing your father
I'm not even kidding.
If they wanted to go that far to get the real one.
Yeah. If they're dedicated enough for it, go ahead. Yep. You're dedicated enough? Okay. Like, just by me having a plan like that, having that already planted.
It's yeah, that the way the like. Yeah.
That's what DMs need to think about. That's what DMs need to like really think about, because being a DM isn't just, oh, I know the rules, I know the handbook like the back of my hand. Oh, you have to think about scenarios. That
I love that too.
really
You know how hard it is for people to actually know rule books like that. There's so many.
I don't know. So I got like a spell for my tiefling. I had no idea what it was. I'm like, how?
I love this idea of like, so I'm gonna cast this spell. Are you sure? Yep. Do you know what it does? Nope. We're gonna find out.
So then I had to like I had to like Google search it and then just take screenshots of it. But just that thinking and that process, and knowing that the world that you inhabit in D&D isn't empty. You're not the only adventurers, you're not the only travelers, you're not the only, like, people that do that. No. The world is full of things, and you need to kind of accept that. I want to, like, kind of grab my, like, players' attention and be like, we're doing this, and we're gonna do this, like, for a good while. I'm not going to set it up for, like, this is only a one-off campaign. No, I'm setting up for, like, you know, like people do D&D for like a year.
Yeah.
I would already have like seeds planted. And I'm like, okay, I know what to do.
Okay.
Because I don't plan on just like doing a one-off or doing it for a month. If they got tired of it, cool. I know how to end it quickly. If they don't, I could continue it. And that's what's going through my head, like, day in, day out, when it comes to, like, D&D. Especially when I'm playing it. I'm thinking about it. And as a player, I think a lot of players also want to be like, I just want to make an adventure that I would find fun.
You ever have one of those moments where you like, you've just done something in a game, and you go, how have I just done this?
Oh, it's best not to. Don't really. I have some of those moments, but after a while, I just like it's best not the question.
You're right.
It's really best not the question.
Infirmary,
Man.
Resistance Comms, Training Center, and a Defense Matrix I have being ready to be built right now.
Defense matrix, I don't think. If you do the chosen fast enough.
What?
I don't think you need the defense matrix because that's like only if you take a long time on the chosen.
So I
It's
have a
not
Defense Matrix being built. Jackass.
I'm pointing out the obvious.
Yeah, I know. Well, you said... Well, the way you said it, when you first said it, you were like, oh, let's just take forever to do it. And then you're like, oh, that's right. My opponent, for some reason, does take forever and a half to do it. I was
Yeah,
I don't...
I'm pointing out the obvious. Like,
Yeah.
it is a useless building in my opinion.
It is.
But then again,
If you play the game slow, it is not. Hmm.
I love when a character gets out of stasis and they just target that character right away. It's like, wow, so mean.
That's annoying.
But it really is. And right now I don't have a proper healer, so time for a third reset. Luck is not shining on me right now. I couldn't really keep the ball rolling because they like set me up on missions where it's like I'm not winning.
Well, today's a good day for you to catch up because I am like dragging ass right now.
I mean, yeah, we're just talking.
No, I mean in the game itself, I'm just like.
We did double the length of the Avatar project, right?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll need to have one of our troops equip the Skulljack for use in the field if we're going to make any progress towards our current objective.
But let's see. I wouldn't be that ashamed to like put in my own creatures. There's this creature that I want to draw so badly. Because like I had it in like a nightmare once, and it's like really cool. Basically, it would be almost like a spin on like a learning person. But what I would do is when you approach the woman, and like you would see her face starting to like rip open, and she turns into this like giant worm monster with like teeth spinning around in her inside the body.
Creepy.
Yeah. And then she would like do this like screech that would like almost make you deaf.
I like the idea of making a monster in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign that doesn't get killed. Like the way that this is how I would do my DM. This is how I would do my DM thing. Hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. I would give experience based on beating encounters, not beating enemies, like killing enemies, because I think that closes off a lot of doors when you say you get experience based on what you kill, not what you do, right?
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because I had this idea of like it just popped into my head as you were talking about your idea for a monster. But my idea for this monster / creature is one that kind of levels up with the party, and it's like a reoccurring creature they face against. But like it's not like if they get a chance to kill it and kill it, sure they do. But more than likely when it starts getting lower on health, it'll run the fuck away. Because it doesn't want to die.
No, but you know, it'd be a real asshole TPK. I just thought of it. You put the thing in the party.
Oh.
You put the thing in the fucking party.
As soon as you said the thing, I'm like, I thought you were talking about my monster, and I was like, how you gonna do? No, you meant like literally the thing.
Yeah.
Oh
if
god.
If you want to be an asshole and you want to do a TPK, yeah.
That's silly.
You throw in an NPC or like a companion that like and then make it the thing. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm making.
Hell, you don't even
everyone
have to do
upset
that. Just
anyway.
have like a random encounter with a random ass wolf, like
And then, oh, well, the thing is, though, in your party, it's like, how?
remember that wolf
What do you
from
mean, how?
8 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was the thing. Welcome.
That's silly.
It's silly, but it'd be a fun TPK.
It'd be a fun one shot type of thing.
It's like Among Us but in D&D.
Among Us, but D&D. Oh my god, how the hell would that work out? Alright, so you're going to be, doing wires, you said? Alright, roll a dice to see if the people believe. Fuck. I can't even keep a straight face, that's so stupid.
It's stupid, but it's not impossible.
I know it's not impossible. No, I'm a firm proponent of nothing is impossible.
But, so many creatures that you could just put in, and I feel like it would be nice. Mermaids I would put in.
Oh, you know what would be a very interesting campaign I'm just thinking about? Like a world of Dungeons and Dragons with your like beholders and your monsters like that and your creatures like that, right?
Mm.
But the group is, this is how you do it. The party, maybe they don't know each other, maybe they do know each other. Regardless of that, they're a part of a like a monster hunting guild type of situation, or
And then they get little cat pets.
if you want to go that route, sure, go for it. We make Monster Hunter and Dungeons and Dragons.
Go.
But like, you get what I'm trying to get at, right? Like,
you can also do a twist.
Yep.
Traditional. Instead of them playing as characters, they're playing as monsters.
That would be interesting.
You would obviously have to know good knowledge of the monsters to really make that work, but it is definitely possible, because how I see it was this. Okay, the setup would be this. Humans are invading, your overlord is telling you, stop this. And you get to pick, I would make it, the party would have one big boss monster, 2 mini boss monsters, and 1 escort enemy.
You know what? Are you saying that? I'm thinking about it. What would be really interesting Dungeons and Dragons campaign is like the PCs are like the direct subordinates of the big bad.
Hmm.
Like they're the generals of the big evil or whatever type of a situation.
And they can rebel if they want.
If they want, sure.
If they want, yeah.
But
it would be hard, but they can do it.
That would be very interesting.
I'm making, like, again, my brain works in mysterious ways. I don't think, like, traditionally. I'm like, nah, this sounds cool, I want to try it.
Same.
As again, imagine, like, you know, you have a beholder,
Oh.
and then you have, like, you have, like, 2 goblin chiefs, and then you have, like, a shaman.
I'm imagining that, but I'm imagining like the opening scene starts off with like something that would be described normally in a like final confrontation, the big room with the throne and all that, right? But it's the PCs kneeling before said throne, getting their next commands, like to go out to a town and gather sacrifices or whatever, stuff you normally try and stop. That's so weird.
Why they haven't done it yet?
Yeah, I haven't heard about it. I mean, I'm sure something like that's been done before.
Yeah, no, it's D&D. Like,
but it's not something that I've come across.
I thought about it. And you can only think about when you start going on tangents, and you're just like, this is cool. We've been streaming for an hour, by the way.
Yeah.
Is that an environment suit? Maybe something that can't.
Gotta deal with Andromedons. It's my first encounter with an Andromedon. Normally I go long on Fridays into Saturdays. I'm probably, after I get ready to wrap up with you, I'm probably just gonna call it there too. The
I
stream.
am in the same fucking boat, dude. I am like 2 hours of sleep. Nah, I'm not gonna like burn myself.
I'm like looking at it. I'm like, it's been an hour and a half, and my brain's going, I don't know if I could make it the full 4 hours tonight. The last 2 weeks have been so fucking busy for me, which is a good thing, but fucking
It's also a bad thing.
exhausting. Like, going up and down rooftops sucks,
I know,
especially in this heat. At least I'm getting some
no,
sun
the
though.
heat, it just makes it so much worse.
Well, the other day I had to carry up a fucking 80-pound compressor up the roof, and that's one of those things where that fucks you up multiple reasons. Not just because of the weight of it, you got to go up a ladder, but also because the idea, if I drop this, that's what, because of how much it cost, $1,500 or something like that, that I just like fucking pissed away, kind of a situation. You know what I mean? And when that's going through your mind, that's not fun.
Your hands start slipping.
Well, no, they don't start slipping. It just, you get nervous. Trust me, that was one of those situations where I one time, I think it was last year or the year, no. Was that 3 fucking years ago? No, it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. What happened was, we had a full, no, it wasn't just the compressor, but it was the full, like, the housing, the everything. It was a compressor, a fan, a coil, the whole shebang, right? And I had to bring it up, and it wasn't even that high of a roof. It was like, I could jump from the roof without a ladder and, like, hit the ground and be fine if I bent my knees enough. But, like, the ladder started to slip, so I kind of, my dad was grabbing the, I can't remember what it's called exactly, but he was grabbing the housing, let's call it. And as I was starting to fall, I pushed the housing more towards him and he grabbed it, because I'm like, I'm probably gonna get hurt a little bit, and my fucking elbow was fucked. I think I even talked about it in one of my videos. I would need to find that video, but I cannot remember which one it was, and I don't do descriptions in my videos, so I wouldn't be able to figure that out easily.
But no. So again, thoughts on Valkyria Chronicle?
I'm fucking enjoying the hell out of it.
I will say the hardest moment was when they were actually like showing.
Yep.
And it's like, holy
Yep.
fuck, that makes you cry. Like, that is just something that they've done, and I'm not spoiling it because there's someone in my stream right now that has not played it. That has it.
I'm
has
pretty
not
sure
played it.
there's going to be a lot of emotional moments in it, and I'm the type of person that doesn't shy away from that shit. If I'm going to get, also, the 2 specters that I'm watching literally just moved twice for no reason. They Soldier McSoldier faced.
I thought Heels Yes was going to survive because
Heels Yes is doomed to not live ever.
yeah, like I got a 5 hit on the commander at the end, and you know, like they missed, no one got hit, no one, and then the
Crit
fucking,
hit killed.
yeah,
Yep.
just right away. Oh fuck.
That's always annoying when that happens.
Yeah, but you can't just move on.
But no, that game has pretty much got me hooked, and I'm like, okay, so when can I get the other Valkyrie games? Like, that's what my brain's doing right now, because damn.
PSP. So PSP.
Probably not gonna
That's
happen.
the only way to get Valkyria Chronicles 2
Oof.
and 3, and Valkyria Chronicles 3 is only in Japanese.
I mean, I'm
Valkyria
okay. See, this is what's
Chronicles
weird.
4
I'm okay with suffering through that. I would mainly just be playing it for
gameplay wise.
gameplay, but I'm pretty sure I could figure out like a unofficial patch with some translation stuff.
Yeah, there's, but there's no way to get them on PC.
That's dumb.
Well, no way. There's like, obviously there's ways, but no way to like buy it off Steam.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And that
Dumb.
sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Cause again, what's weird is they have Valkyria Chronicles Revolutions, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. That's the only stuff that you can buy on Steam. Why did they skip 1 and 2? Well, 2 and 3 beats me, maybe undersold, but 3 is supposedly had the best story, and that was one that never got localized. I hate when that happens. It's like 3 has the best story, never got localized. God fucking damn it.
Menace 1-5. Neutralize all
How the hell am I supposed to do that?
Commander, the data tap has
Are you
been
stuck?
destroyed.
No, not you.
More information it managed to pull from the
Or that. Fucking what? Literally, I activated another pod. Every single enemy went for the data, and they killed it. So that's my first failure.
Oh, that's
And it's a
great.
guerrilla mission, so that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
I think I'm gonna stick with it because
It's not really that harsh.
no, I just plus I just at my current mindset I couldn't give a shit right now.
Yeah, that's good. You have someone that can easily just reset and
Yeah.
hopefully change the RNG for himself.
Locked and loaded.
It's like a weird thing that I'm putting a time limit on you.
Kinda.
You have to do this. You have to do this so quick. If you don't,
Oh shit.
well, guess what? I catch up.
Oh hey, Bladestorm.
Bladestorm's beautiful ability. It's actually like a really good ability. You can like do a lot with it too. But yeah, it's I basically bought Valkyria Chronicles randomly when I was a kid. Played it, I got bored of it, and then I remember. So I traded in a lot of games when I was a kid. I hate myself for that.
Hmm.
Like there's a lot of games. Like the best Dynasty Warriors game, I cannot find anymore.
Yeah, you'd probably have to get it for ridiculous amounts of money off of like
Xenoblade I traded in.
dumb.
Very, because if I want to buy a physical copy, it would run me 120.
Mm-hmm.
If I bought the digital copy for $20.
You always make a mistake when you're younger.
I guess.
You always make mistakes when you're younger, unfortunately.
And again, when you don't have a lot of money to work with and you want to play new games.
Yep, I did. I mean, I traded in so many games, it's ridiculous.
I've also like got games that I never traded in, like ever.
Well, nowadays,
Nowadays I don't even trade them in. I'm like, oh.
well, it's less not even like there's no need to trade them in nowadays. It's for some reasons like with some companies having all their different programs of like Epic, free games every week. There's so many games I got for free from Epic that that were on my lists, like my short and long lists, that like the Evil Within 1 and 2. Those were games that I definitely wanted to purchase again, but I don't have to now because I got them for free from Epic. At least I think I got them for free.
You hope.
I can't remember. Actually, no. I'm 100% positive every single game I got from Epic, I got for free. And I haven't bought any DLC through Epic yet. Keyword there, yet.
Yet. Crap. I usually pick them up on like Steam sales.
Babe. In the future, I'm
And-
gonna try and wait for the summer Steam
I'm
sales.
also that kind of person where if I know the game is, if the game is good enough, I don't mind buying it for other people. I'm like, I don't mind.
Obviously.
Yeah, the game is like good enough. It's worth the fucking experience.
Which
It's not like that's. It's not like that. It's like terrible game. No, there's no way it is. And that's why I did Valkyria Chronicles. Because of the obvious of, hey,
Well, it's not
this
only
is
just like the story's good, but the gameplay is really good, and it's also that
it's
combination
very
of like,
unique.
yeah, of like,
Art style, everything is just so well done. And I adore it.
oh shit, I'm yawning right now.
I'm like the tired where I just feel drained.
Yeah. Are you on a mission right now?
Yeah,
Oh.
why?
Where are you at?
My second mission,
Okay.
and I just did a reset.
Oh, silly. Well, I mean, not silly, but I get what you're saying.
I had to do what I had to do. There was no way around it.
Anyways, lost my train of thought. I always hate when I'm that tired that like I had a train of thought and it went gone. Eh.
Yeah, if you lost it, it's not that important.
Well, I'm not gonna dwell on it. More like,
No point, because you're going to give yourself a headache.
make sure we're good. I think we're good. I basically had to restart that mission that I was just on because I basically got a squad wipe.
Did you see the new trailer for the new Kingsman?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh.
I saw a scene from the new Space Jam movie.
Yeah.
It has
I treated it as its own thing.
it has a Rick and Morty scene in it.
Makes sense.
I was kind of both surprised, and what's funny is apparently people are talking bad about this one.
About the Space Jam?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Why is that? I'm actually curious because I haven't heard much about
People
specifics.
have major nostalgia for the
Ah.
original Space Jam.
I know why I'm hearing it because yeah, okay, got it. I'm all for watching it. I think it looks good and interesting, and
My defense, I prefer the original just for the animation wise.
yeah, the animation style in this one looks a little weird. Like it's a little off. It's like one of those situations of like
it's like I see what you're trying to do.
I see it. It's like I see what
I
you're
see
trying to
it.
do. I don't know if you should have tried
No,
to do
thank
it
you,
though.
No, thank you though. It's like I see it, but no, thank you though. And it's like no harsh feelings to the people that did.
No,
harsh
it's good animation. It's just when you take something so beloved and you change it that drastically,
people will not like it.
yeah.
It's like when Mortal Kombat did Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh God.
That was a thing.
I only hear about that every occasionally because it's like that, like specific games people just don't talk about. Like they don't exist.
It's like Voldemort. You don't speak the name of it.
I was watching unscripted stuff that happened in some of the Harry Potter films. It is amazing, not just the Harry Potter films, but how many unscripted things occurred that made scenes in movies like that much better or that much more viral kind of a situation.
You wanna know something that's cool?
But
Sherlock Holmes, the one with Robert Downey Jr., basically the entire, both of those movies were basically improv.
yep, I've heard about that.
Barely scripted, and I'm like, what the fuck is so good?
There are a lot of surprising amounts of scenes in Marvel movies that were unscripted. A lot of stuff in Guardians of the Galaxy was unscripted.
That one makes sense. Honestly.
Why
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Gamora?
Hey, can't stop, bro, you and me. That one was the complete ones. Oh yeah, have you guys ever touched Shawarma? Yeah, that's like a good shawarma face.
And then they actually went to a fucking
Yeah.
shawarma shop.
Yeah, and Cap had to cover his face for one reason. You wanna know what that reason was? He was acting in a different movie.
Yep, and he had his he was like
Beard coat.
facial hair
He
was.
had a beard.
Yep,
And yes, later in
he had a beard.
he had a beard. Yes, later, but in that moment of time, didn't. He wasn't supposed to.
So he had to
Hide
keep
it.
his stuff covered. Yep, I remember that. But yeah, I was asking that because, like, what mission you're on, because, like, basically keep playing until my slow ass gets done with this mission. Kind of a situation, if that's right. I know it's early, but I'm
Dead
beat
tired.
today. Yeah.
Like you don't even want to go for like the full 4 hours. I don't blame you.
Well, no, like, my bare minimum amount that I'm okay with going is 2 hours. Even then, it feels too short, but I had a conversation with myself, basically, a mental conversation with myself, of like, if I'm gonna stream, even if I'm not feeling 100%
Yeah,
or
just
like
stream for,
whatever,
like,
I have
2
a
hours.
headache, I'm gonna go for 2 hours bare minimal.
And you're just wondering like, oh yeah, just end early.
Yeah,
today.
but if I'm that
I'm
bad,
like, I'm fine with
like,
that.
you know, I gotta be bad if I'm not gonna stream. Like, it's something, some shit has had to
Oh,
go
you're-
down.
You also know I'm in the same, like, I have to be like really dead if I'm not willing, like, if I, cause you know, like, as soon as I say fine, I'll do it, you know, I do it for the full like time.
Yeah, or you get prepared to do it for the full time, and I
Yeah, it's
appreciate
like,
that.
I'm getting myself prepared for
I
it.
wouldn't be able to do it if I only got 2 hours of sleep. I got a full
Well, I feel just
8 or whatever, or 6 or
out
whatever I
of
got.
it.
And
I feel out of it.
then again, you are a
And-
little bit younger than me.
Yeah.
We're not going to say specifics because Twitch is TOS.
Yeah.
But, oh my god, I'm 4 years away from being fucking 30. Anyways, not gonna think about that. Not gonna think about that. I'm gonna refuse that for as long as possible.
Why am I thinking, hey, Tomb is getting to the 30s.
No, we're 4 years away from that, but still, the fact, like, it's weird.
It's weird to think about it. Like,
Yeah,
it's absolutely
yeah.
weird to think about, like, how old you're getting
And, like, how long it's
Wow.
been since I was in high school, everything that's changed. Oh. Like, I don't see, this is what's funny. I'm not saying this because I'm, like, worried about age. I don't care. I'm gonna get gray hair, whatever. I don't care about that. It's just thinking about, like, how much shit has happened in my lifetime.
You don't feel like that you're that young.
I know I'm young comparatively. Like, I'm
But no, it's the thing of like, oh well, you know, like the older generation's like, oh, you haven't been through so much stuff. It's like,
been
no,
through
but
a fucking
I feel like I'm 50.
since, you know what's really fucking crazy? If we actually pull out of whatever what is it Afghanistan? No.
We're actually rumored to probably go back on.
I literally just heard we would be gonna be getting pulled out by August, and now they're talking about going back in.
That's you guys.
Oh, you're talking about Canada. Holy shit! Sorry about that. It's that's the other thing about this that's so fucking phenomenal. The internet was not like this. Like, I couldn't just talk to somebody who lives in Canada, or I couldn't just talk to somebody who lives in Great Britain as easily as I'm talking to right now, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's awesome, but crazy.
Granted, why they're going back in, I do agree with. I do support it.
Moving to position.
It just, you know.
Yeah.
It's just when you guys pulled out, something terrible happened, and it's like, oh fuck.
Well,
Like,
see, this is the thing. Okay, so hold up. From what I've heard, we haven't, like, all our troops are not just left like that. There's still troops over there. From what I've gathered.
but something or someone got wind of it, and
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% like I've only heard about this months ago or whatever, or weeks ago or whatever. Because I don't really follow the news that much anymore. because of how fucking commercialized the news has become.
I mean, that's fair.
So honestly, any information is new information to me.
Let's just say we want to get translators out.
Ah. Oh, that. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
I 100%
Okay.
agree with
Yep.
that.
That
100%.
that situation's kind of fucked.
I think that they should get out
I do too.
because that's
Fucking.
this is sad, and this is what I'm gonna stand on. People saying that, well, they don't deserve to come into the country and live here. It's like,
Why?
you know what? If a soldier puts their life down on the line, a translator puts their life down on the line, especially when they are translating for people that are against people that are in their own country.
What?
And-
That mindset statement that you said sounded so fucking ignorant Americanish. And I always
it's
say
out
ignorant
there.
Americanish because fucking there's so many Americans that are so goddamn fucking stupid that will make comments and statements like, "Oh, these people don't deserve." Who the fuck are you to say that? Who deserves what? It's my opinion that if you have that opinion, you don't deserve half the shit that you have, motherfucker. What's your opinion about me now? If you want to talk like that, you asshole.
That's reaction would be like, well, you're an asshole.
Yeah, well, if you're gonna be an asshole, I'll be an asshole back to you,
But
motherfucker.
I say this, and I mean this fully. A translator puts just as much of their life on the line as a soldier does.
I mean, maybe even more so for some situations because translators are like kind of high value
And
targets.
If anyone wants to come at me and say no, they don't, try me, because I will defend it.
Oh,
I
I'll
will
defend it
stand
too.
down on this, because I'm not saying people are gonna. I'm just saying, like, if that comes up, just because I will say this, they are translating for, and if we want to go into technical terms, for the enemy. For the enemy of their own country, whether
No, I see what you're
is-
saying.
Whether it's, oh yeah, again, how you different perspective.
Well, no, for
Like,
me,
maybe
for
they have a
me,
similar enemy or something like that.
for me,
But-
it's was it during World War II?
Wait, what are you talking about? Because I probably know.
The Code Talkers.
Code Talkers was World War II.
Yeah, that shit is translators. Those are translators.
And I think Cold War also.
But the point still stands of like, fucking translators are very important.
They get kidnapped. They're not going to be treated lightly.
Oh no, they're gonna be treated as like VIP
Target number.
POWs, and you don't want to be a VIP POW.
No. There's some.
This situation I'm in right now is completely fucked. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6,
I'm
7.
just gonna wait because I know
8.
you're gonna take long for that mission, so I'm just gonna save here.
I mean, you could keep going.
No. You're gonna struggle on that mission. I'm gonna give you like a breathing room.
I have a lot of breathing room as is, my friendo.
You know what? I
Stop dodging, you piece of shit! Sorry.
I think you need it, to be honest. But so my father told me this, and I just find it so great. When World War I was happening during Christmas, Britain and Germany
Yep.
had a truce on Christmas,
I think
and they celebrated.
more than just that had a truce, but yes.
They exchanged gifts in there.
Yep.
And then they went back to like fighting the next day. Because there's one thing I feel like every soldier should keep in the back of their head. You're not fighting monsters. You're fighting people that are fighting for a cause that they believe in. Whether it's a good cause or not bad, a good cause or bad cause in your eyes. They're fighting for something. And you are fighting for something also. So, people that develop, I don't know, like a hatred, I don't understand.
I do understand why they developed the hatred. It sucks that they do, but I understand it.
I
I
guess
don't
it's
agree
because,
with
like,
it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it.
Well, it's like, yeah, well, you can understand anything, but it's kind of like, I just don't agree with it in the sense, like, I understand what happened was terrible. Terrible, like, completely terrible. But, it is honest to God,
Moving on target location.
they're human in the end of the day. They still bleed the same color you do. They still fight for something that they believe in.
There are too many people that have forgotten that,
That we're all human.
yeah.
Now in this world expects you to be perfect. How I like saying it is, you could be the best man on earth, and fuck up once, and you'll only be remembered for that one fuck up. People will judge you and amplify your bad stuff. And that bad stuff will overshadow your good stuff.
We will overcome.
That is not right. I feel like people are people. People are allowed to fuck up. People are allowed to have problems. People are allowed to get help. And having the world constantly tell you, you fucked up on this part, whether it's small or major, and you should suffer.
I agree with you to a certain extent.
We all saw that thing go
It's
down.
just so stupid.
No, I get what you're saying, though. There are certain fuck-ups, though, that are too big of a fuck-up to let slide.
I get that, but you should also understand if they're trying to fix it.
Okay,
Maybe you should have some
there we go.
leeway.
Mine are the fuck-ups where the people are not. Like,
No, I'm not talking about people that are like suffering.
I
or
figured you
refusing to
weren't.
help.
I just wanted to make sure we were on the same
I'm
page.
saying if they did, even the most major fuck ups, if they knew that was wrong, and if they're trying to fix it, even if it's a unfixable fuck up, if they're trying to be a better person, if they're getting help or trying to get help, what makes you so entitled to call them a piece of shit? What makes you so entitled to think that you're better than they are because you didn't do it? Like, for fuck's sakes. People don't treat each other as humans anymore. People treat each other as, like, almost machines. They expect so much from a person that can only give so much. And when that person can't give past their expectations, they yell at him or degrade them. Like,
I get what you're saying. There are
it's,
just certain things
it's
I'm
wrong. That's just the truth, it's wrong. We're human, like what were the days where if you needed help you would get it? What were the days where
I mean,
if there was a war
see,
you
I
wouldn't
think
be
there's
constantly yelling at it? Like
I get
there
where you're
was-
coming from.
there was, and I know I'm saying this loosely, there was a semblance of peace that we lost over the years. That it's just we're so social media, especially with this, made it where everything gets amplified.
You have no fucking idea, like, how ridiculous some of the social media shit is. Like, how quickly people go from this individual is, like, the greatest to this individual is the biggest piece of shit. It's not, aside from that, it's also how, like, regardless of what facts are shown to certain people, they still won't, like, no matter what, this is 100% the fact. This is irrefutable.
They will only believe what they choose to believe.
Yep. This is
That's the
irrefutable. This is the situation that you exist in. This is no matter what you say or do, this cannot be changed. And you will still be wrong because they disagree
Let's
with
go
you.
with something that isn't so harsh, but yet it's treated like it is. If a person is an alcoholic and he goes to get help,
Oh, that.
he's applauded for it. But everyone will keep on judging him after he gets help. Of like, well, you are an alcoholic.
I don't have much experience with situations like what you just said there, where the person after they go to seek help, people still harp on them.
It's
I don't see that a lot, I guess I should say.
But it's there because it's not like how it used to be where a scar could heal. A scar is always going to be visible on you. And it's like you have to live in this world where you can't get involved with people's lives, or you can't do the right thing when you deem so because you may get in trouble
I
for
don't
doing
think
the right
that's
thing.
as it might seem like it's like that, but I don't think it's as heavily like that. If that makes any sense of what I'm saying. It
I
seems
don't
like
even
it's that
care if
bad,
it's-
but I don't think it is.
I don't even care if it's like 15%. It shouldn't be there in the first place.
I mean,
If
I agree with you,
you
but that's an impossibility. Just like how people like talk about there never being war, that's an impossibility too.
Yeah,
You have too
my
many.
father said, as long as there's two people on this earth, there's
Yep.
still a war.
Yep, I'm of the same mindset right there too, because it's too humans.
It's sad to say, but it's true.
The only time humans on the planet Earth will never be at war is when they're at war with somebody outside of the planet Earth. That's it.
Even then, I don't think aliens
Even
would
then,
waste their time on us.
Yeah, same thought process. But the point I'm
Honestly.
trying to make is even then we'll still probably be fighting each other over fucking land and power and
Resources.
stupid shit that doesn't even matter. You can't fucking take money with you when you die. You can't take power with you. You can't take all this fucking land you
This
own
is
with
not
you.
Egypt.
Even then, you're not taking it with you, in my personal opinion. Mind you,
I
whatever
mean,
you
they
believe is
thought
what you
they were.
believe. But like, but my point is, okay, say you could take it with you. It's not the exact physical representation of that. It's something different.
Whatever you believe, and whatever religion, prophecy, whatever you believe, it's always a different concept. But there is one true concept. You don't keep what you had on Earth. And you don't get to say, I have $1 on Earth. I die. I have $1 in the afterlife. No, it doesn't work like that. Because with how everything is, the afterlife, no matter how you look at it, is supposed to be a place of paradise or damnation. With how everything got told.
You know what's funny? I have this normal like I don't have this hesitancy to talk about that kind of stuff, but I don't really talk about it that often because I'm literally the type of person that's like I have no
It's a
idea
very
what it's gonna
touchy
be,
subject.
and
very
it's
touchy
is
subject.
people will. I'm okay with talking about this type of stuff, whatever, as
So
long
when I talk about it with like care. Like I'm like, I'm
as
not
long as long as we
not-
talk about it and like people don't try and like force down their beliefs upon somebody else's throat.
No, it's like
That's why I'm okay with talking about
in
this.
a broad spectrum of like stuff that I learned, stuff that I chose to study, and I'm not throwing down my I'm not throwing down my opinion. I'm not throwing it's like you have to believe this. Nope, I'm taking this in a broad spectrum.
Well, no, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have no idea what the hell it is. Like, nobody really does have any generalization of what actually is going to
People
be.
that had comas technically know a bit of it.
Well, all right, but let me stick with my train of thought really quickly here. So I'm kind of the person that's like, eventually I'll find out, and so I'll discuss it and discuss my general beliefs. I like calling them general beliefs, but when we find out, we'll find out. You know?
Mm-hmm. But it's just that, I guess that philosophy that people want to like say, but
It's the desire of knowledge of like people are afraid of change and all that, and people want to know everything they can know, so they
I mean,
can
this is
deal
your
with
last
it. I
question,
guess.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Cause like I stopped streaming and I'm just like vibing. Cause
I could just do what I did last time and save it
yeah.
and come back
But
to it
We're picking up an inbound
when it's my
we-
turn again. I'll do that.
aliens are going to try and
we're always fascinated with what we don't know.
don't let them get on board that ship.
We
We
study
also
it.
are afraid and hateful of it.
I mean, it depends on how the person is. some people hate the unknown.
All
and
right. So
they're
fun
terrified.
fact: what we're gonna do is we're gonna just this and save it at the beginning of this mission.
But some people are terrified of the unknown, and some people want to dive head first.
I'm kind of an in between situation. It's not that I'm not
I-
okay. Let me rephrase that. I'm not terrified of it. I just can't be bothered to be bothered about it.
I learned
that makes any
something
sense.
that made me fascinated about the unknown, and that was something my dad taught me. A rattlesnake will only rattle when you're stepping in its territory. It won't attack you out of aggression. It'll attack you out of defense.
That's a lot of animals are like that.
And that made me not afraid of it.
Yeah, if you ever hear sound like normally sound effects that you hear or like the animals puffing themselves up like that are basically them just saying stay the fuck away or I'll fuck you
Back
up.
up. Like
Yeah.
back up.
Yeah.
And you don't want to go full sprint. No. When
Mhm.
it's wolves, bears, you don't, because that involves a chase.
And I've heard that playing dead's one of the worst things you could do.
Yeah, because sometimes they just see.
Will eat you.
Some of the animals.
Oh,
just
it's
see that.
dead? Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it's just kind of back away slowly and move away. Like, just kind of accept it. It's just like, it's their territory. You're invading it. Move on. And me knowing that and me not being afraid made me question a lot of things that I was afraid of.
I mean,
And just wanted to learn about it.
it's kind of funny because I don't have that, like, realistically, I'm not gonna say I'm not afraid of anything, but like, I'm not afraid of rattlesnakes, I'm not afraid of alligators, I'm not afraid of shit like that because
They have their own territory.
yeah, they stick to their shit, I'll stick to my shit, you know what I mean? What I am
Yep.
afraid of, though, are things like jellyfish. Those things have no brains, and they exist.
Yeah, no, they're just wandering.
Yeah, they just like, they thrive and shit, and it's like, okay, I don't like you. Yeah,
And
you
they
stay in the
technically
ocean,
have,
you stay in the ocean, and I'll stay out of the ocean.
Technically, their sting has poison.
Oh, I know. But it's,
And
I'm like that with a lot of stuff. Like,
sharks actually don't go crazy with blood. It's
I
been
figured.
tested.
I
It's
figured
been
there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit where like the dude who made the Piranhas horror movie went, if I actually studied piranhas, I never would have made this movie. Like there's so many situations where people when they know about the animals and how they actually go, because there's a lot of misconceptions because of popular media and stuff like that.
But people think that a shark smells blood and water. It goes red, and it's no. And plus, sharks don't eat humans normally. They just
No, they're
like,
normally mistaking them for seals and shit. And
yeah, we're not their food source.
also, I always dislike when people start to get a little bit frustrated, well, not frustrated, but angry at the animals. And it's like, you do realize what you're doing. You're going into the ocean. We are not sea-bearing creatures. I mean, we're not sea creatures.
You
right?
want to see the depths of the ocean? You're going to see stuff that should be in fucking horror movies.
Yeah, you're gonna interact with stuff. If you're gonna,
A giant squid.
if you go out of your little bubble, you're gonna deal with shit that has its own bubble. You know what I'm saying?
Like, giant squids? That's a thing that is still on this earth.
Yeah, sharks,
And
stingrays.
you know those killer whales
jellyfish.
that have like scars on them?
There's a reason they're called
fight
killer
those
whales.
squids.
There's a reason that like dolphins have scars and shit like that. Dolphins are mean.
Yeah, they can be like harsh.
Anyways, yeah. Wow, I love how our conversations go from
D&D to this.
D&D to philosophical thought processes.
Yep.
That's what I love about having streamed. Just conversation that never would have happened had I not started streaming.
Is it also why you're great that I'm your friend? Cause I can bounce subjects like it's nothing, and it's like a easy transition.
Well, I like the. I'm so glad okay. You said that. I'm kind of glad now that I went with the theme that I went with of like followers and like people that support like follow and subscribe and all that stuff are citizens and stuff like that. I like the kingdom theme we have going on because that concept to me is a little bit more closer, and that's kind of what I wanted there to be. I didn't want it to be like, oh, you are all just viewers. You know what I mean?
How we started the race was I'm just like, fuck it, I want to race you.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But yeah, I like this idea of. I was watching this one. I can't remember who it was, but they made a comment about how you should have this association with your viewers, right? Like meeting up. Like this is the kind of person that thought it wasn't a good idea to meet up with your viewers and like stuff like that. And I was
A
like,
lot of content creators would tell you otherwise, actually.
well, yeah, and I'm one of them. I'm like, this shit's awesome, man. One of my viewers who's become one of my moderators, who's become one of my friends.
Who's become a meme in your own.
I mean, you were
chat.
a meme. You were a meme almost before you were even a fucking viewer in my channel, jackass. So don't try it. But no, I'm more than okay with this idea. This commentary came. Whatever the fuck that word is.
There's something people need to realize.
Comradeship in the kingdom.
Your viewers are what made you.
Oh yeah.
Your viewers are what lifted you up. And if you step on every last one of them on your way to the top, you're going to get people that will yell at you.
Of course.
But if you thank every last one that did it, you'll have people that would respect you.
I mean, the whole thing that I like. My whole thing is this is the way that I am. I'm not putting on an act. I'm not putting on a. The only thing that I do is I put a little bit more energy into my rage. That's it. Like when I start getting aggravated, I kind of flick the switch and like let it out, and I try and rein it back in. The
I
problem
try
is,
and put on a show if I'm streaming by myself.
I'm trying to put on a show too, but like I said, that's like the only
Then
thing
again,
I do is I
I
put a
just
little bit
break
more
games
energy in.
for the
I guess I
fun
was
of
gonna say I put a little bit more energy into everything that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like, I'm a little bit more excited, a little bit more angry when I'm angry, stuff like that. But it's not like I'm lying. I'm not putting on a character. That's what the word is. I'm not putting on a character. I couldn't do a character. So what you see is what you get. Like if the same me that's sitting here talking right now would be the same me that would be sharing a beer or a juice box or whatever the fuck with whoever else would be hanging out.
I will say this. I'm more chaotic by myself in a way because I usually don't talk when I game. But
you know
the thing
how,
is,
dude? Do you know how fucking hard I shouldn't say, dude. Do you know how hard it was for me to communicate while I was video gaming? I still have issues with it.
you still have to like get into that mood. You have to get into that headspace. But I think what also helps is I naturally break games by accident.
True.
So I have something to like go off on, or I do stupid shit like in the phone order. I said this. Okay, every cliff we see, we must jump off.
Oh God.
So every cliff I saw,
Fallen Order. That game was good. I kind of want to see another game like that, like a Fallen Order 2 type thing.
I want to see another Force Unleashed.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed out on that one.
It's on Steam.
It's on Steam? Okay.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna have to fucking.
It's completely worth it. It's a short game, but it's worth it.
Well, you say short, then
It's like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, so 8 for me, probably.
Yep.
Not only is it because I play games slower, but also because I'm the kind of person that's like, all right, now let's do a. I think on my tags for my streams, I should add like achievement stuff too when I do achievement runs. Like when I'm trying to get 100% achievements for Valkyria Chronicles, then I could add achievement hunting to the tags because it's kind of funny. The tags actually do help people come up to the stream. I've noticed.
Mhm.
I've been looking at
I will say
analytics and
this.
stuff.
Have you seen a movie called Rango?
Maybe. Is it animated?
Yes.
Lizard?
Yes.
Yes, I've seen that movie.
Gecko, I think.
Yep.
Actually. It is a beautiful masterpiece of a movie.
Yep. I know
If
exactly
you
what you're talking about.
actually sit down, when I was a kid, I'm like, I don't really like this. When I sit down now as like an adult, I'm like, what the fuck? I love this.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. I'll never forget I got lucky when I was younger, and I would just play games to play games. Like, I never understood what was going on. Like, I mean, I understood that something was happening, but dumb 8-year-old brain was like, haha, gun goes burr, right? Like, that's exactly what was going on in my brain. I was just playing it because it was a thing to do. I'll never forget the moment of realizing that video games had a story, and that was Metal Gear Solid. I've said this before, but Metal Gear Solid. It was the scene where you were going down the not the bridge, the elevator. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Metal Gear Solid 1.
Oh, because the elevator scene was also in 2.
You're going down the elevator just after doing something with one of the key cards you need to shut down Metal Gear. And I was just like, it was one of the few times where I didn't skip the codec call or whatever, and I listened to it, and me being however old I was at the time, 9, 10, was like watching it, and it was like the gears in my head would turn in, click, 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 and I'm watching this, and I'm like, wait a minute. This happened, and then that happened, and my eyes got all wide, and I got all excited. I'm like, holy shit. Not that I was saying that as a young age, but that's basically what, like, holy shit, this is and I restarted it, and I paid attention to what was going on, and I was hooked. And then I started paying attention to all of my video games, and it's like, oh my god, there's actually a story.
Let's see. I was blessed with getting into Final Fantasy when I was 3.
I
So
completely missed out on
got-
Final Fantasy, and I'm so sad about that.
Yeah, I was blessed with that. But I played Final Fantasy 10, thought nothing of it. When I heard it was getting remastered, I already knew I loved the game, and I pre-ordered it 9 or 6 months before it came out. And when I played through it, I beat it, and I loved it, and I cried at the end because it was a very well done story. And I played through a lot of games just to play through it. I still am like that. It's very hard for me to get hooked into a story, especially with like Final Fantasy games now.
It's
like,
kind of funny. It's easy for me. I'm the exact opposite. It is so easy for me to get hooked into a story.
I'm just like, I heard this story before. I just want to play the game now.
You know what's funny? It's harder for me to get hooked into a movie and a show now than it is for me to get hooked into a video game story.
Movies, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get me sucked
Well,
in.
what sucks is most of the movies that I watch, I can go, okay, so this character's going to do this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. And then my parents, who have been watching a lot of Hulu and Netflix and stuff like that, especially now, will like go, did you watch this movie before? And I'll be like, nope. And they'll be like, that's exactly what happened. And I'm like, yep. Except was it different characters? And they were like, yeah, this happened, and then that character did that instead of that character. And I was like, okay. And it's like,
But
I hate when a movie's that predictable, though, you know?
games tend to do that too. Down certain
They
roads.
do.
If you
But
stick with the one genre, you tend to realize it.
I think it's
But-
easier for me to ignore that because I deal with a lot of different genres of
I will
games.
say this: Logan was such a good movie.
I haven't seen that one yet, but I want to so badly.
Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna say it, but
I
holy
kind of
fuck,
already
it
know
is
all the
good.
spoilers of it, but I'll
I
still
will
watch
say,
it.
I don't want them to be like, we're replacing Wolverine. No, let X-23 take up the mantle.
Please. Yes, I know. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Just let her take up the mantle like she did in the comics.
That would be
Because Wolverine
so
is a
good. That would
is a
make people
code
so happy, too.
Yeah, Wolverine's just a code name. And it's like,
And
why
you
should
can't.
call
And what's funny is I
Wolverine?
was actually talking to who was I? I don't know who I was talking to. Was it you? About
Half the shit that you talk to is me.
well, I talked to a couple of different people actually, including but not limited to my parents. But I was talking about having irreplaceable characters. Like for me, Iron Man is like a live action Iron Man. Cannot
Let War
it's
Machine take over.
it's but it's not Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, no, it's
that
like
makes sense to let War Machine take over, but you cannot have Tony Stark exist again. If you catch what I'm saying.
yeah. Just like how, in my humble opinion, Robert Downey Jr. is also Sherlock Holmes, because doing a movie that that had that much improv, holy fuck!
It's not even just the improv. Like I think improv in a movie makes a movie so much better when it's, especially when it's really
It
good
was
improv.
well fucking done.
I'm pretty sure that whole scene with him doing the
chest.
not the chest, the makeup
Oh.
scene, the when he's going through getting the cloak, putting on the fake nose, the glasses.
That doesn't seem script. Because the way that he acts is like, the way that he portrays Sherlock Holmes is, he's not cocky, he's not arrogant. He knows exactly what's gonna fucking happen.
He's quirky. He's quirky.
Yeah, he knows what's gonna fucking happen. He accepts it, and he already found a way out before it happened. And the only people that were able to confuse him, even Watson says, yeah, that's the only people that can confuse you.
Anyways, you can probably keep going for another.
Yeah, I'm like dead tired.
But yeah, I started to do one of those things where I was starting to go through the loop of like conversations we had, and I was about to bring up what we first started talking about, and I'm like, nope, I gotta stop it right here.
Yeah, no, I'm like way too tired.
Yeah, same. That was fun though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh man, I cannot wait until like it starts slowing down for me so I can go longer.
Yeah.
On
Well,
these
I'll
streams.
talk to you later, dude.
Talk to you later as well.
See ya.
See ya. Bye bye. That was fun. I'm exhausted though. Normally I'd be going for another 2 hours in the race with Grantkirkland, and then I would be departing, like putting a different game on. But because of how busy I've been and how much fucking of my ass that I've been busting, I'm exhausted. So I'm gonna be calling it here tonight. If you have enjoyed your stay at the kingdom and you haven't already, do not forget nor hesitate to become a citizen of the kingdom today via subscribing on YouTube or utilizing the links down in the description below, or the link down in the description below, to catch me on all of my other social media sites and whatnot, including but not limited to Twitch. You can follow me over there. Catch me when I go live at 8 p.m. EST, EDT every weekday. And if you've enjoyed it enough to do any of that, don't wait, no. If you enjoyed it enough to do any of that, feel free to also share it with a friend and help gain more citizens. I'm getting better at it. I still have some more work to put through and some more thought process to do, but regardless of all that, that's going to be it for me. So until next time, take care and have a good one. This is King Tombs 46 signing out. Bye bye.